Hi there, my name's Anna. One question that teachers, especially those teaching history, like to ask is, what era of history would you like to live in? Followed up with, how would your life be different? This is actually a pretty difficult question to answer, as I'm pretty comfortable with all my modern amenities. But if I had to choose, I would want to live during World War II. Now, this may seem like a pretty grim option with everything that was going on at that time. However, as a woman living in America, my role in society would be about to change drastically, and this time period would ultimately become the catalyst for women's and civil rights movements, as well as women in the workplace for the rest of time. Because so many men were being drafted or volunteered for the war, there was practically no one left to run the factories, or any other job for that matter. Naturally, the only people left were the ones sent to work, the women. About 5 million women entered the workforce between 1940 and 1950, taking up jobs in the defense industry, factory work, and offices. Additionally, 350,000 women served in the armed forces during the war. However, this was not the first time that women had gone to work, as many people believe. In fact, before America entered the war, about a quarter of women already had jobs outside the home. But these jobs were often limited to things seen as appropriate for women, such as sewing. Although it was primarily women keeping America alive while the soldiers were gone, they still suffered through prejudice and unfair difficulties. Women were paid much less working the same job as a male worker, although it was more than they had been previously paid. Government officials stated that working would make women too brutish, so many factories gave makeup classes to female workers. Many women could not care for their children as they were working new, long hours, so programs such as the Community Facilities Act were produced to help care for them. Women of color were oftentimes rejected for work because of their skin color, and Japanese women were being forced into cramped internment camps, where 8 people lived in a single room. It was during this time of a great opposition to female workers that Rosie the Riveter, a character of government propaganda, was created as a symbol of the strong woman of America, and existed to convince women to work. If I were to live during World War II, my life would be very different. I would most likely be working in a factory or an office for just a fraction of the wages men were paid. Because I live in California, I would also see the great prejudice against Japanese Americans and would be one of the few who helped them to store their possessions until they were released. However, even if I was comfortable in my job after the war and wanted to continue working, I would most likely be laid off, like many other women after World War II. Although these mass layoffs might have been discouraging for women to work, this movement had cemented the fact that women deserved the right to work if they wanted to. Shortly after the war, 32% of American women were working hard at their jobs, paving the way for women in the workplace today.